must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build Grenada, CARICOM, and PT Martinique together. I want to welcome you to the hub. Again, we have a unique moment in time to talk, using social media and the radio to connect. My name is Kem Jones, and I am your driver, the host of this program. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. I want to start off by saying we have a real statesman in the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. We can feel proud knowing that we are well represented on the regional and international stage. World leaders look up to this young man, this intelligent, eloquent, decent, humble man of character. And he's out there flying the flag high. And we must all feel proud about that, because we didn't have that in the last, Well, let me start or rephrase. We started having that in the last 2 years and months, under 3 years. But before, during the last administration, there was a void that was missing for 20-something years, because after a while, the individual was defined by regional leaders and world leaders. They just didn't want to sit with the guy. They didn't want to be around the guy. He was isolated, right? So that is why I am saying we must feel proud of our Prime Minister. I want to start off by showcasing two pieces. One from China and one with the Indian Prime Minister. All right? So the first thing we had was the Indian Prime Minister, who came to the region, and our Prime Minister was in charge of CARICOM as the chair.
Today, we gather as partners and friends, united by a shared vision of progress, cooperation, and mutual respect. And I will say it, a love for country. The Caribbean community attaches tremendous value to the shared history, common values, kinship, and strong bonds of friendship that we have enjoyed with the government and people of India, which have strongly influenced and enriched the diverse and vibrant culture of the Caribbean community. This historic summit is taking place against the backdrop of rapid developments regionally, hemispherially, and globally. We are particularly appreciative of India's enhanced engagement in recent years, as it demonstrates a genuine eagerness to fortify our bilateral ties and collaboratively confront pressing issues such as the pervasive digital divide. As Prime Minister Modi once said, and I quote, "Good governance with good intentions is the hallmark of our government. Implementation with integrity is our co-passion," unquote. These words resonate deeply with our shared commitment to building a future grounded in trust, transparency, and mutual benefit.
Yes, so that's leadership with class. You have a great orator, but one who's also humble. And world leaders, regional leaders, they recognize that. And they want to do business with our prime minister. They want to be around him. When he is in a room, you realize the energy that's in there, and people are seeing it every single day. So that's India. That's a country with 1 billion plus people, if not more. And then you have China. China is also a developing nation doing a lot around the world. All right. So now you have China.
I first wish to begin this morning by extending my deepest gratitude to the government and people of China for their warm welcome and exceptional hospitality extended to me and the entire Grenada delegation since we've arrived in China. It is a profound honor to stand before you today as the Prime Minister of Grenada, particularly as we celebrate a significant milestone, the 20th anniversary of the resumption of diplomatic relations between Grenada and the People's Republic of China. It is a celebration of the enduring friendship and mutual respect that has blossomed between our two nations over the past 2 decades. When we resumed our diplomatic ties in 2005, we embarked on a journey defined by collaboration, understanding, and shared aspirations. Now, in 2025, we can look back on this journey and confidently affirm that our relationship and our partnership has yielded remarkable benefits for the peoples of Grenada and China, significantly contributing to our national development. One of the fundamental pillars of our relationship has been the unwavering adherence to the One China policy. Grenada has consistently supported this policy, recognizing the importance of respecting China's sovereignty and its territorial integrity. This principle has laid a strong foundation for bilateral cooperation and has fostered trust and goodwill between our nations. Over the past 20 years, our partnership has manifested in numerous transformative projects and initiatives that have significantly improved the lives of our citizens. One such endeavor is our National Stadium project, which stands as a symbol of our commitment to sports a new development. As we celebrate this significant anniversary, it is essential for us to reaffirm our commitment to continue fostering this unique relationship. We will continue to strive for an even greater collaboration, not only in the fields of infrastructure and education, but also in culture, technology, and environmental sustainability. Together, we can unlock new avenues for growth and development that can benefit both our nations.
Yes, so that's the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell there speaking in China. So, look, we have to be very, very, very happy with the fact that our Prime Minister is respected and people just want to be around him, world leaders, regional leaders, because he is very humble. He's intelligent. He's a good orator. He's classy. He's, a leader that people want to be around. And I think that is the underlining factor here. People want to be around him here in Grenada, at home, regionally, and internationally. So again, we wish him all the best. We're happy that he continues to fly the flag high, and that is what any nation would want. At this point, let me play a little piece from a recent engagement he had with the workers regarding pension, because I think that's the take home in all the conversation regarding pension.
I just want to say a little thing about the past service benefit, because it's really the cabinet, not me, the cabinet of Grenada, all of my colleague ministers who are responsible for this. The recommendation was to pay 50% of the past service benefit. I was not even in the cabinet meeting when the conclusion came back saying that the ministers, on their own volition, agreed to pay 100% of the past service contribution. And this is important because in effect the government is contributing and paying its contribution towards the pension from the moment you started working with the government, notwithstanding that the pension plan is only now coming into effect. So if you've been working for 5 years, 5 years equivalent of past service contributions will be paid for you. If you've been working for 10 years, 10 years equivalent of past service contribution is being paid for you. So this is significant because it therefore means that your past years of service is being valued and is being validated because we recognize that you would not have started working with the government today. So that is really our way of saying thank you for the service that you've given to the people of Grenada.
So that point made by our Prime Minister is a very important one. And I said so in the past. Remember, the 4,500 or so unestablished public officers do not have a pension to go home to, or they didn't because the law is now in effect, right? So before the law was passed, they didn't have a pension to go home to upon retirement. But some of them started working 10 years ago on contract. Some of them worked 11 years, 12 years from the day this law came into being. The NDC administration could have opted not to pay this past service benefit, meaning treat the workers as though 15 years ago they had a pension plan. That is exactly what the government is doing. So you were there for 8 years, they're treating it as though when you just started working 8 years ago, you had a pension. You were paying a pension because the government will pay that for you. They didn't have to do it, but they did it because they want to make sure when you retire, you get a good pension to go home with. And every month thereafter, you will collect a good pension. So this is a very, very, very good point made by our Prime Minister. He is saying, we cherish you, we care about you, and we want to make sure when you retire, you get something good. Because if that didn't happen, then many of the people who have only 10 years to go, because they might just be 50, right? Or let's say they might be 49 or 48. They have 12 years again to go to work and then retire. Then they would not get anything much as a pension. But if they can treat the amount of years that they were working as though when they just entered the work, they enter them or register them up for this pension plan, they would go home with something good. So that is exactly what the government is doing. The government is making sure that all the amount of years they were on contract, they are not losing any one of them. They are not losing any year or years. They're giving them the entire package to say, you started working on contract 9 years ago, we will pay the entire 9 years for you. Come the end of January, you will make your payment, but it will be like 9 years and 1 month. You have been paying, although in reality, you did not pay the 9 years, government is paying it for you. That is good, very good. And I think the public awareness, that constant bombardment, in a good context here, of good information, correct information about the pension plan is helping the worker or the workers and helping government. Because the union leaders who were bumping their gums, they went into hiding because they know that the stance that they have taken is not a popular one with the members of their unions. So as a result, they gone into hiding. So you have to constantly be disseminating information to empower our people. And as I told you, at a point, the union leaders, some of them, were acting as though they were the employer of the unestablished workers, as though they were paying them when the month ends. When the month ends. But the employer is the government of Grenada. So the government of Grenada was wise to engage the employees to bring them up to speed with the pension plan and to explain to them what is in it for them. Because we realize that there's one particular union leader who is in bed with the NNP, who decided to team up with the NNP, not understanding that the membership of the union was not in support of that. They do not support the NNP because they know what they've been through under the NNP. And the NNP must be ashamed to come out and speak about anything regarding workers, because the NNP was in power for 23 years and a half, and they never had the vision to take this bold step and put in place a pension plan for the people who didn't have one, right? To make sure that when they retire, they go home with a pension. And we know that the NNP was also pushing a contributory pension. I played a piece for you with Beryl Isaac. She was the CABSEC at the time. And she spoke about it, where it would be a contributory pension. I think I have it somewhere here. But you know, the NNP is just about playing politics. All they're concerned about is playing politics. And as a result, we are seeing before our very eyes what that can do. It's all politics. They knew from day one that is what was possible, because the pension of 1958 is not sustainable, because the government alone pays into that, right? But because of politics, the NNP is against this new pension plan. It's all politics. They did not support it in the parliament, and they continue to be out there saying all kinds of things about it.
Salary. Government will endeavor to establish a new contributory plan for those workers, established and unestablished, who join the service after 31st of December 2018.
Right, so they intended to establish a pension plan for established and unestablished workers who joined the service after 2018. All right, so they intended to do so. All the contract workers, they were unestablished. And then you had people who were coming in established position but had no plan, no pension plan. And you know, during the NNP time, they were always pushing Ms. Beryl Isaac to come out and say certain things. And sometimes the things that she was actually saying, some people concluded at the time that it was for the politician to say and not her.
Salary. Government will endeavor to establish a new contributory plan for those workers, established and unestablished, who joined the service after 31st of December 2018.
Right. So they intended, the NNP administration intended to have a pension plan that is contributory, where the employee will contribute a certain amount. But today, because of politics, the NNP is singing a different tune. And some of the union leaders teaming up with them, but they're on the wrong side of history. Because with technology, we can just easily go back and get that kind of information and put it out there in the public domain. And that is exactly what I am doing. I'm saying the NNP intended to put in place a pension plan for the established and unestablished workers. And it would have been a contributory plan, similar to what the government has right now. They will only, the NNP could only fool their supporters. But any serious Grenadian who believes in the development of this country will never support the NNP. In fact, today I had to laugh when Roland Bola, the General Secretary of NNP, was asked about young people coming into the party. And he made a reference to Kitaka, the PRO of the NNP. But Kitaka is nothing new. No, nothing new. Right? It's just that he has a position now on the executive of the NNP. But who else? The people who are there in NNP, the majority of them, they were wrong. So it's not that they're attracting new people. And then a question was posed to him regarding Emlyn Pe being the leader of the NNP and Keith Mitchell the leader of the opposition. And I am saying, how is it you could make a person the leader of your party, but when it comes to being the leader of the opposition, she's not worthy enough to be that person. She's not capable enough to be the leader of the opposition. And I really want that to make sense. Because what would normally happen once you become the leader of the party, you should also become the leader of the opposition. Because remember, the leader of the opposition is not an elected position. It's a position that comes with caucusing, meaning all the people who are on the opposition side, they're going to caucus, they're going to meet, and they will agree on who will be the leader of the opposition. But here it is. Normally, if your party loses and you have the majority of MPs and you are the leader of that party, then you become the leader of the opposition. So, Emlyn Pe is the leader of the party. But how is it she's not the leader of the opposition? And all Keith Mitchell has to do is to inform the Governor General that he resigned from that position, and all the other members agree that Emlyn Pe will be the leader of the opposition. That's all. But Emlyn Pe is not capable of being that person or serving in that position. So he thinks that she's incompetent, that she's not capable of handling that position, in my belief. And as a result, he is remaining as the leader of the opposition. But he is not the leader of the party. But in the books of people who are politically savvy, they will tell you that Keith Mitchell is the leader of everything within NNP. So he's the leader of the opposition and he's the leader of everything within the party. That is what they will tell you. So while they had a convention, while they had delegates voting and so on, that was just a show. Because in reality, in real life, the man's still running the show. Still running the show. He may not have the title, leader of the NNP, but the man's still in charge. He's the chairman of the party, you know. So I am saying, folks, it is time to understand. Emlyn Pe was just placed there. But Keith Mitchell is still in charge. How on earth the person could be the leader of your party and they cannot be the leader of the opposition in the parliament? And all of you all were elected to be MPs in the parliament? Why? Why? So the NNP has a problem. Plenty problems. But that one is causing a lot of people to realize that this woman is not competent enough. She's not capable of leading anything. So as a result, she was placed there as a puppet, but she cannot become the leader of the opposition. Because by now, she should have been appointed leader of the opposition. By now, at least by now. But no. She's not competent enough. She's not capable enough. And then they're on programs and so on talking about they want to rescue, talking about they have a lot of new people. New people where? Which part? In fact, there's a meeting in Riverside that bus only recently. They're not able to attract new people or people generally to come to their meetings and to be a part of anything that they do. Because you see, Grenadians are interested in positivity. Grenadians want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And the opposition from day one has not been constructive. They have been more destructive than anything else. They criticize, they condemn, but when it comes to putting solutions, when it comes to fixing things, when it comes to making a difference, they have not been able to do so. Yes, they will talk. Yes, they're out there. Yes, they get free airtime on GBN every Tuesday. And nothing is wrong with that. But that's about it. They have a lot of podcasts and talk programs and so on, talk show programs and so on. When it comes to doing better in the lives of our people, they're not interested in that because they only want power. To them, only when they're in power, they could do things. That is how they think. When they're in opposition, they're not able to do it. Only when they're in power. So we have to keep them out of power at all costs. Because how is it that you spend 23 years and a half in government and you don't have any friends, any ally, anybody that you can go to support a little initiative in the community that you're a member of parliament of? How? And only when you're in power you could do things for people and help people. So without power, you're nothing. And let us keep them as nothing. We must make sure that they never, ever get power back in this country here again. And hear this. They don't understand people. When this 4,500 or so unestablished workers get the assurance that when they retire, they will go home with a pension, it was just all applause in that room at the Trade Center. Because they know they come from a home and they have a family. And when they retire, they need that little money to still continue living. So these 450 people, or 4,500 people, they come from families with 3 or 4 people. And they come from different constituencies in the country. When the pension was paid, same thing. The 500 people come from 500 families. And they come from different parts in Grenada. When the doc salaries were repaid to the hardworking teachers and public officers, they come from different parts of Grenada. When the 13% increase and fringe benefits were paid out, they were paid out to public officers who come from different constituencies and they belong to families. So they were positively impacted. When CES, that grant aid was given to small and medium-sized businesses, it impacted 500 and something businesses. And they all belong to somebody who comes from some family, some household. And it positively impacted them. And they come from different constituencies in the country. And you can say the same thing for the cash payout after Hurricane Beryl to the farmers and to the fishers. Hundreds and hundreds of them benefited from that cash payout. They come from families from different constituencies throughout the country. We can say a similar thing for the people who are getting housing assistance. New houses being built for them. In some instances, the Build Back Better initiative. They come from families. It's not just one individual, and they're from different constituencies. The minimum wage impacted thousands of workers in the country. They all come from families, and they were impacted positively. The 100 young people who started the Digital Workforce Initiative, the training, right? Where government is paying for them to train and become certified in ICT and, digital workforce stuff dealing with technology, right? The 100 of them came from families. So it's not just 100 that were impacted, but you're talking about that 100 times 3. So the 100 young people who started this training and opportunity, youth in agriculture, and the next 100 women in agriculture, they all come from families from different constituencies. But some people don't understand that. The Office of Creative Affairs, 100% concession to creatives. They all come from families. It's not just an individual or individuals. The loan, the fund set up where they can go and get a loan and so on to expand their business and help their business grow. The people who are benefiting from that, they all come from families. The scholarship that they were given, they completed the 3 courses or 4 courses, 4 at CC. They graduated or they were awarded only recently. All of them come from families. All of them. So I am saying all of this to say the government cares about people, cares about families, and they're investing in them, helping them in many different ways. So while the NNP might sit and say, well, that MP is not popular, that MP can't win, or that MP cannot win, you're joking. You're joking. Yes, some changes will be made come the election, but because Grenada is small, whatever you do will impact a lot of people in different constituencies. And that augurs well, because there are some MPs who need to do more. And I agree, but the government is performing well. The government is performing well. Look at the amount of people who registered. You believe that they are registering because they like NNP? No. Nope. They are registering because they're pleased with the performance of the government. So, look, when you hear NNP talking about rescue and they go rescue and they launch a new PR campaign and all this nonsense, just laugh. Laugh and ask them what you really what you're really coming to rescue. What you want to rescue. You have to ask them that question. Because this morning, I showed you a piece regarding the licensing center, where, vehicles will go and be licensed. That facility stayed in ruins, stayed in that bad condition for years and years. And you had police officers using that facility to do their work. But look at the condition of it. It took NDC again to come and fix it, clean it, and renovate it.
The project aims to address long-standing issues with the facility, which serves thousands of Grenadians with services such as driver's license applications and exams, vehicle inspection and registration. The renovation includes extensive cleaning, structural repairs, improved seating arrangements, and upgrades to accommodate digital services. Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Honorable Andy Williams, highlighted the importance of the project.
We plan to expand the services of the license center and so in that area, and also we see it as a venue that can be used for heavy equipment training, which we want to embark on in a short time. We're looking to finish the center by the end of this month, January, and in that case, finishing means changing the roof, cleaning the whole building, retrofitting the building, and also concreting the yard so that we can use it for heavy equipment training in the future if we want to go down that route.
The cleanup and renovation of the Grenada License and Inspection Center forms part of a broader plan to upgrade public facilities across the island.
The center has been that way for years, I could tell you, more than 10 years. Yeah, and it's a place where people go to on a regular basis, either to inspect the vehicle or when they are going for license. So we thought it was necessary to tackle it in a speedily fashion. As soon as the year started, the contractor and the guys, they came out and started to work immediately. So we are starting a program where we are embarking on refurbishing our government buildings, bringing them back in the state where it can be useful to the government. So far we have seen a lot of our buildings, they are not in the best of conditions, and it seems to be deteriorating on an ongoing basis. And this administration finds it necessary to really remedy the situation and ensure that we bring back a sense of love and prestige to our buildings. So the License Center is just the start of this initiative.
This project marks a significant step toward improving the quality of services offered to Grenadians.
Yes, so remember, and thank you MTV there, remember this building remained in that condition for a lot of years, plenty years. NMP was in power for 20-something years. They were not renovating anything, fixing anything. No. They were not. They just left everything to run down. So what they're coming to rescue, really? You had a school in New Hampshire that the NNP never paid any heed to, a preschool. The Honorable Ron Redhead came in, and within no time, they were able to renovate that school.
The Government of Grenada and the OECS Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, OECS Pearl, handed over the newly refurbished New Hampshire preschool earlier this week. Government constructed a brand new cafeteria at a cost of 300,000 EC dollars, while the OECS Pearl refurbished and procured resources for the preschool at 155,000 EC dollars. More in this Sarana Mitchell report.
The newly refurbished New Hampshire preschool has the capacity to hold at least 50 students. It is one of 5 preschools being refurbished as part of collaboration between the Government of Grenada and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, OECS Pearl.
Today, this preschool stands as a testament to our shared commitment, the OECS Pearl and the Government of Grenada. It has been, this school, New Hampshire Preschool, has been upgraded with improved classrooms, appropriate learning materials for the implementation of the high scope curriculum, outdoor play area, there is now a space for outdoor play, the lunchroom, the additional kitchen, all designed to create a safe and stimulating environment for learning.
That's Deputy Chief Education Officer in the Early Childhood Education Unit in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Charmaine Christopher. Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, states that the preschool is an investment in the future of the country.
This almost $500,000 project It was jointly borne by the government and the OECS Pearl, is a drop in the bucket. It's not too much, given the impact it can have on our society. No investment in our nation's children, in our future, in our society's well-being is too much. So this is not just a $500,000 project. This is not just a joint $500,000 spend that we can boast about and say, oh, almost $500,000, $500,000 was spent in renovating a school, and we can talk about Pearl, we can talk about the government. But this is more than that. This is strategically an investment in our society, in this community. And we need to understand that. And so there are a few ideas that I want to share with you. One, the more you do for these little children now, the less you would have to do for them in the future.
Parliamentary Representative for St. George Northeast, Honorable Ron Redhead, says the newly refurbished New Hampshire preschool is a fulfillment of a campaign promise, and he is extremely appreciative of the work done at the school.
The quality of the restoration work at our preschool today truly instills pride and a sense of belonging within this community. It will empower our children to grow into prominent and productive members of society and allow staff and students to collaborate in a comfortable environment to fulfill their responsibilities. As a result, we anticipate that more parents will seek to register their children in this institution in the future. Let's pray for that in God's name. For these reasons, I would like to express my profound gratitude on behalf of my office and the constituency to the Ministries of Education, Infrastructure, Social Development, and the contractor himself for the successful completion of this wonderful project. Additionally, we thank the OECS Pearl, Program for Education Advancement and Relevant Learning, for partly funding this initiative, which we know would not have been possible without their financial support.
The parliamentary representative also shared that he has organized with the local health and safety company, Bethel and Associates, to install fire extinguishers at the school. No one was happier to see the transformation of the New Hampshire preschool than the founder, Louise Alexander Thomas, who is affectionately known in the community as Teacher Louise. She started the school almost 50 years ago.
The new school is very appreciated to me. I'm happy for it. And I am saying inside of me, I'm sorry it wasn't in my days.
Her daughter, who is Deputy Chief Education Officer of the Testing and Examinations Unit at the Ministry of Education and is a member of the community, Diana Mitchell-Gooding, was also a student at the preschool.
I would say to the community, cherish this school. Work with the teachers. Send your children here. Encourage the children to be good students, no matter how small they are. Work, as I said, with the teachers. Attend the PTA meetings. Observe what is happening. And encourage the teachers. Do not fight with them. Build good relationships with them. It is all for the benefit of your children.
OECS Pearl Country Coordinator Dr. Astra McKenzie hopes that more parents in the community will utilize the newly refurbished preschool.
I am so ecstatic with the transformation that has taken place here. If you knew what this place looked like before, let's take downstairs for instance. We're just talking about pillars and earth. And now we have a full cafeteria, washroom, kitchen. It is so conducive for learning, for students here. The biggest thing for me though is that now is an opportunity for us to have those children who want to leave Willis and go to school elsewhere, other preschools, come to New Hampshire Preschool. We wanted to come back.
Community resident Sonjay Bartholomew, whose children attended the New Hampshire Preschool, praised the refurbished building and hopes to see more children at the school.
Well, one of the things also that I've noticed is over the years that the numbers of the students started to dwindle. You know, I do not know the real reason for that, if it's because of some of the same things I mentioned previously. But now that they have a new refurbished school, I am hoping that the community would actually send out their kids come first of all and see what the school has to offer. It's now fenced. They don't have security. They have maintenance. They have a lot of equipment that was donated to the school to upgrade the school.
The contractor, Glenroy Sayers of Sayers Construction, says though work on the preschool began in May 2024, it took longer than anticipated due to the passage of Hurricane Beryl and the heavy rains. Of the over 20 workers on the project, about 12 were from the New Hampshire community.
Yes, so as I said, the NNP wants to come back to rescue what? Because the NNP been in power for all these years. What have you done in the 23 years and a half you were there to enhance this place? And I've been saying that for a lot of years, on this program. Because when you look back, you realize that the NNP, they were just leaving everything to fall apart. You remember they talk about the new police station, the new police headquarters, sorry? The new police headquarters? Well, it took the NDC to come back in power and construct, well, to identify a building, renovate it, upgrade it, modernize it, and turn it into the police headquarters. And if you pass the Carenage area, you will see this building on the Carenage. It took the NDC to spend millions here to fix this facility for the police, the headquarters, so they can have a place called home. And then you know of the Grenville police station. That too is under construction. I think they were looking for a place to relocate them so that they can work on the building, right? We know the Central Police Station. They're not doing some work there. If you pass in that area, you would see scaffoldings and so on set up. St. Paul's Police Station, that was done and completed. The Hillsborough Police Station, done and completed. And then you have some smaller police stations that they're working on. And then you have the pay and grade to come for the police officers. The NNP never entertained any conversation about pay and grade for police officers. And that was the biggest thing for them. They were fighting and crying for that. So the NDC intends to address the pay and grade in the first quarter to second quarter of this year, to bring their salaries up to a certain scale, right? Like the teachers and nurses and so on. So once that is done, but mind you, the NNP is out there still condemning the NDC, still criticizing the NDC, still have all kind of bad things to say about the NDC. Do you know that under the NDC administration, the most amount of guns, firearms, illegal firearms, and ammunition, bullets and so on, were confiscated, were, confiscated is the right word here, but they were able to search homes, use their intel, their intelligence, to find them within our communities, within the country, and arrest those who are responsible for carrying those illegal firearms and ammunitions. More guns and ammunition were found, the illegal ones, under this administration through the police intervention. So the police, they're doing a fantastic job with the intelligence. They're finding the people with those guns. I mean, yes, Grenadians, they talk a lot. Many of them, they are boastful. So once they have those weapons, they tend to show off and so on. But I'm glad they're showing off, and the police is identifying them with the intel and getting those illegal firearms off the streets. They're doing a fantastic job. A fantastic job. And we have to commend them. We have to commend the Royal Grenada Police Force. They're doing a really good job. Every week you're hearing about a couple firearms, illegal firearms they were able to arrest somebody for it, or they caught some people with it, that kind of thing. So they're working hard. So the police must be commended. You know, the NNP, they're quick to criticize, they're quick to condemn. But things that are happening good in the country, you're not hearing them? You're not hearing them applaud it? You're not hearing them talk good about it? All they're waiting for is some bad news. They're bearers of bad news. But the country is moving forward. Grenada is very peaceful when compared to the other islands. Grenada is very, very peaceful. Thanks to the Royal Grenada Police Force and thanks to the NDC administration. Because once the police officers are happy, they are more willing to work and go the extra mile to solve crimes and to prevent crimes from happening in the country. So they need to take a bow. Kudos to you, the Royal Grenada Police Force. Folks, it's a good note to wrap up the program tonight. I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. Sorry, have a wonderful night. And I hope you had a wonderful day. And I look forward to continuing the program tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the a.m. Again, we have to continue the mission. All right? So take good care and bye for now.